They're trying to own the libs, but they're actually hurting Trump voters. The people they are hurting the most are in the very states that voted to put Trump in the White House.
Those were paid agitators that showed up impersonating MAGAs and voted for Trump. So that's how we own it. Because we know they really libs. So they are really libs. That's you know what I mean? They radical left lunatics.
I love the poorly educated.
Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
Thanks. We have minutes for you too, special friends. Okay.
Caroline, what do you say to critics of the president's education plan?
Where was their criticism of our nation's failing test scores for the last several decades?
I love the poorly educated.
You know, the kinds of people asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Republicans in Congress. Let me holler at y'all. Let me holler at y'all for a second. So let me make sure I got the game. Let me make sure I got the party line. So the idea is that all of the drama that we have seen at the town halls is radical leftists and paid agitators.
Huge percentage of those people, and I know you care about the veterans.
The citation dropped and a private security firm's license revoked after this past weekend's town hall in Kootenai County up north.
You're lying! I'm a veteran and you don't give a fuck about me! Shut the fuck up!
So those are all paid agitators and leftists, yet you also have issued a directive not to continue to do town halls. So you don't want to do town halls because apparently your people aren't showing up to the town halls? Is that what your people, your constituency can't be trusted to actually show up to the town halls? Because I can tell you, a whole lot of people are.
Hello, everyone. About a unelected, non-confirmed.
So the people who show up to the town halls are radical leftists and paid agitators. Is that also the case with the people that have taken to social media? You know, the fact that we got all this FAFO content, the people that have taken to social media and regretted their vote for Trump, are those also radical leftists and paid agitators?
Today is the first day that I regret voting for Donald Trump.
I messed up. As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump because I thought he was going to deliver on his promises. And now I quickly realized that I had to FAFO, and the whole country will have to FAFO. And it's just ridiculous about what's going on right now. I sincerely apologize.
So I'm still upset about my vote for Donald Trump.
Because to let you guys tell it, all is well. All is copacetic in MAGA land. Is that what you're telling me?
So elsewhere, Republican lawmakers are shrugging off recent disapproval and outrage at town hall events, instead blaming the backlash on what they say are paid troublemakers. President Trump took to social media yesterday to claim, without any evidence, that these troublemakers were attending and disrupting town hall meetings as part of a game for Democrats.
It will be like Trump's agenda doesn't affect you at all. That is the way that you've been moving. And see, the thing is, you can deny that there is dissatisfaction, rage, whatever you call it on the ground. You can deny that's the fact, but you can't deny the actual impact of Trump's agenda. Let's just go to the cut du jour, shall we? Like, I don't know, the Department of Education. The Department of Education provides crucial funding for low-income public schools. Eliminating it would result in the loss of 6% of teachers' jobs nationwide. That coming from Stephen Ratner. Now here we have a list of Title I providing federal funding to low-income public schools. Without it, the entire country could lose around 6% of its teacher workforce, affecting over 2.8 million students. Now, this is the share of students at risk of losing their jobs. Let's see where the darkest area. We got Nevada, we got Arizona, we got Florida, we got Alabama, we got Mississippi, and Louisiana. Hey, Senator Kennedy. Hey, Senator Kennedy. Hey, no, put that solo cup down. Yeah, put that solo cup down. You want to address this? Huh? Well, you need some time to work on your foghorn leghorn? All right, he needs some time to work on his foghorn leghorn accent, but he needs to address this. And by the way, that's just the teachers. Funding for public schools primarily falls to local and state governments, but federal funding works to fill the gaps. States that voted for Trump last November, on average, use more federal funding in their education apportions than states that voted for former Vice President Harris. The dependence is in large part because they're just lower wealth states and they don't have the same capacity to step in and make up that difference. Average federal spending in the 2021-22 school year was 17% in Trump voting states compared to 11% in states that voted for Harris. It's 23% in Mississippi that had the highest proportion of federal public school funding that school year, with South Dakota and Arkansas following with 22% each per USA Facts. And by the way, any idea who had the lowest? Who had the lowest? Think like a good liberal bastion of democracy, the kind of place that would prevent Donald Trump from doing any kind of business in their jurisdiction. That's right, New York.
This is a biblical moment. You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do. All these Negroes who are asking me to step down, God, forgive them.
I guess you can't have it all. I guess God doesn't give with both hands, apparently. But how about stuff where you would imagine it would affect the liberals? Like, how could you really own the libs? What part of the Trump agenda could really own the libs specifically? How about the clean air? Like kneecapping all the clean air initiatives. That's got to really hurt the blue states, right? About 80% of manufacturing investments spurred by a Biden-era climate law have flowed to Republican districts. Efforts to stop federal payments are already causing pain. President Trump has thrown the U.S. clean energy industry into chaos, with much of the economic damage hitting Republican states and districts. In a quest to eliminate any funding linked to climate change, the Trump administration has frozen federal grants for everything from battery factories to electric school buses and issued executive orders that have halted federal approvals for wind and solar projects. Trump and Republicans in Congress are also working to repeal the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, which is projected to pour hundreds of billions of dollars over the next decade into low-carbon energy technologies through tax credits, loans, and grants. So far, Republican voting communities have benefited the most from that law, and in the nearly 3 years since it was passed, private companies chasing the law's tax breaks have announced plans to spend $165.8 billion to build factories to make solar panels, wind turbines, electric vehicles, and more. Roughly 80% of those investments are in Republican congressional districts, where they are creating a once-in-a-generation manufacturing boom. And here you see a nice little chart, and look at all those red dots right there, just completely getting blindsided by the America First Trump agenda. He was only supposed to hurt the blue ones, right? Isn't that what y'all told me? Huh? What's that? Oh, the tariffs. Yeah, the tariffs is supposed to fit. That's what he told y'all, right? The tariffs. Yeah. See, the tariffs is gonna hurt red states, and not just because he has completely misrepresented what tariffs mean, and that you reveal yourself to be foolish every time you discuss them.
I love the poorly educated.
No, it goes deeper than that. A potential trade war between the U.S. and the EU would have disastrous consequences for the states that exchange more goods with the bloc, according to a study by LendingTree. While tariffs play a central role in Trump's political vision for the country, and the president has promised that they will bring prosperity to the nation and enrich Americans, experts have warned against their negative impacts on the economy. Tariffs are expected to increase the price of everyday goods for Americans, who would eventually take the brunt of Trump's trade wars. The U.S. will also suffer the consequences of more expensive European imports and exports, especially those states with the biggest trade with the bloc. Indiana and North Carolina, according to LendingTree's analysis of U.S. Census Bureau data, get nearly half of their imports from EU nations, respectively, at 46.2% and 45.2%. Look at how dark they are on this chart. No, relax, Indiana and North Carolina. I said dark on the chart. Just settle down. I'm also seeing South Carolina, and is that Kentucky? No, is that West Virginia? Oh man, my map skills. What's above? Is that Alabama? That's got to be Alabama. I know you're going to use this. That's Alabama. That one is Alabama. That's South Carolina. That's South Carolina. That's Alabama. That's West Virginia. West Virginia. No, because that's West Virginia right there. Yeah, that's West Virginia. That's Kentucky. That's Kentucky. Kentucky, Alabama. Oh, I can put my. Okay, all right. Now I got it. Arkansas, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. I hope you're proud. Yeah. It's going great. It is going absolutely great. And you know what? While we're in the South, because this is going to be fascinating, because while we're in the South, they had a whole lot to say about FEMA last year. Didn't they have a whole lot to say about FEMA? So they should be pretty enthused at Trump trying to take an axe to FEMA. I mean, this is the region where they try to take up arms against FEMA. And God forbid they protect themselves in the midst of a storm. Yeah, let's talk about that. Certain states, many of them red, would be hit especially hard by reductions in federal relief funding, per a new analysis from the Carnegie Disaster Dollar Database. Louisiana, for example, received an average of about $1.4 billion annually in FEMA and HUD relief funding from 2015 to 2024, covering 14 disasters. That's equal to 6.3% of the state's approximately $21.9 billion in overall spending in fiscal 2023. Not 6% of their overall spending. Wow. That is quite a hit to take. But naturally, given their distrust and anger with FEMA and the federal authorities, and following right behind it, we got Florida taking $2.1 billion. We got Texas taking $1.4 billion. And then things really fall off a cliff before we get to Hawaii at $261 million. And rounding out the top five, we got North Carolina at $451 million. This representing the percentage of FEMA and HUD funding as a share of the state's spending. I tell you this, if y'all were going to take up arms against FEMA for coming to support you before, you might have to take up arms to get them to support you now.
Now, over the past few weeks, the Trump administration has slashed hundreds of NOAA staff, including people responsible for producing critical weather forecasts and maintaining radar systems, and they're not done. The agency is tasked with cutting an additional 1,000 jobs, which means 10% of its workforce. See, to Donald Trump and his buddy Elon Musk, NOAA is just another woke agency that stirs up climate hysteria. And so it's one of the agencies that has found itself in their crosshairs. But here's the thing. When devastating tornadoes swept across the country this week, it actually wasn't coastal Democrats in their path at all. It was states like Mississippi and Arkansas and Alabama and Missouri, states that would definitely not self-identify as woke in any way, and states that would definitely benefit from a fully operational and fully staffed and fully funded NOAA. What about FEMA, which provides essential tools for cleaning up and rebuilding after devastating storms, like the ones we also saw last week and this week? Trump and Elon Musk claim the agency is a political tool wielded by Democrats during disasters. I don't even know what they mean by that exactly. So guess what they've done? They've cut jobs there too. And Trump has even mused about shutting it down altogether. That's how they're owning the libs, I guess, right? I mean, that's their approach. But guess which states get the most recovery funding from FEMA and the Department of Housing and Urban Development? Well, states like Louisiana and Florida and Texas, not exactly target Democratic states, those ones typically. Notice the theme here? See, the things they've already done and things they're planning to do actually hurt red states more than blue states. They're trying to own the libs, but they're actually hurting Trump voters. The people they are hurting the most are in the very states that voted to put Trump in the White House.
Now, see, you would think that those are red states and those are MAGAs. But see, those like Florida and Louisiana and they were those crazy left lunatics. Those are paid agitators. Those were paid agitators that showed up impersonating MAGAs and voted for Trump. So that's how we own it. Because we know they really libs. So they are really libs. That's you know what I mean? They radical left lunatics.
I love the poorly educated.
And we're seeing this everywhere all the time. It's happening every day. They're hurting red states by working to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act, even though 80% of the investments are in Republican districts.
And by the way, we have heard specifically about the ramifications of the Inflation Reduction Act.
So everybody says in the comments, Project 2025, didn't you read that? That's his platform. From my understanding, that wasn't his platform. That's not what he's running on.
And you know, while we're on the topic, farmers have a whole lot to say, but I haven't seen a whole lot of diversity in the farmer opposition. I wonder why that is.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers. How many videos have you seen of black farmers, excuse me, making videos going, oh, I'm going to lose my farm because Trump cut off benefits. I'm going to lose my farm because Department of Agriculture no longer gives me subsidy. How many videos have you seen of black farmers doing that? That's because black farmers have historically, till this day, been excluded from all government subsidies. So right now, every white farmer is learning how to survive the same way black farmers have been surviving. Like I said, what Trump was going to do was bring every white American down to the black American level.
They'll continue to hurt people who voted for them if they go after Social Security, which 1 in 5 Americans across every single state rely on. And they'll hurt lots of proud MAGA members if they go after Medicaid. In one Appalachian county in Kentucky, almost 90% of the residents in Harlan County, that's what I'm talking about, voted for Trump, and almost half of them received Medicaid. One woman relying on a Medicaid-funded treatment program for addiction told the Washington Post, if it were to go away today, I would be homeless tomorrow. I would lose everything, all my counseling, all my treatment. If Trump takes the things that they're saying, it's going to be devastation for Eastern Kentucky for sure. And you don't have to just to take her word, or my word for that matter, for it. Here's Steve Bannon.
A lot of MAGAs on Medicaid. I'm telling you, if you don't think so, you are dead wrong. Medicaid's going to be a complicated one. Just can't take a Medex to it, although I would love to.
I mean, the music in the background there is really quite something. But the point is, that guy is not exactly known for his empathy. He's not really a super empathetic guy.
Not exactly known for his honesty either. How you can savage Elon, and I mean savage Elon. Like really, he's left no stone unturned when it comes to him going at Elon. But how you can savage Elon and and put a glass case around Trump to render him impervious from any of your criticism when he empowers Elon is, I mean, it really is a sight to behold. I haven't seen that kind of denial since me, anytime Lil Wayne talks about politics.
Political reality of Medicaid and other issues too. Trump is also hurting red states with his beloved tariffs. He loves those tariffs. According to New York Times analysis, nearly 8 million Americans work in industries targeted by tariffs, and the majority are Trump voters. The jobs that could be hit by retaliation are especially concentrated in pockets of the upper Midwest, South and Southeast, including many rural parts of the county that are responsible for producing agricultural goods. And again, don't take my word for it or their word for it. Here's Mike Pence.
The truth is, when it comes to tariffs, the importer here in the United States pays the tariff. The foreign country doesn't pay the tariff. More often than not, passes along the increased costs on that product to the consumer. Too often I hear the administration talking about broad-based unilateral tariffs that I think will ultimately work against American jobs, American families, and American business.
Have we seen Karen Pence ever since Mike greeted Trump? Have we seen Karen ever since she showed up and refused to acknowledge the Trumps?
Leland, good morning to you. We can see President-elect Trump now entering the room for this morning's service.
Al Gore, Mike Pence there with former President Trump. I'm not sure former Vice President Pence and Donald Trump have seen each other since
I think Mike's still sleeping downstairs.
There you heard it from noted liberal crusader, as he's well known, Mike Pence. See, what's becoming increasingly clear is that in this broad effort to own the libs, Donald Trump is actually owning his own voters.
I love the poorly educated.
And you wonder why Republicans don't want to hold town meetings out there.
Oh, I know why.
We're going to take pictures with you, buddy, right?
And then if you take a look at, what he's done to the Forest Service and the Park Service, the recreation economy and outdoor economy in Montana is worth about $6 or $7 billion a year. If that becomes screwed up, which it appears it's headed in that direction, it's going to have a major impact on the economy in the state. So I agree with you. I think that if you take a look at what he is doing, and he did this in the last term, pitting Democrats versus Republicans and liberals against conservatives. He's now doing it on the world stage. He's trying to pit America against everybody else except for China and Russia and North Korea and Iran. And that's a bunch of crap. And I can tell you that if this continues on and Democrats don't get a good message and don't push back, it's going to get pretty ugly for rural areas in this state and this country.
I want to ask you about that. I want to just ask Mitch first before I come back to you on that. And a bunch of crap, we need T-shirts that say that. So I'll just say that. Mitch, let me ask you, because I think it's so important. We're really trying on the show to help people understand the impact of these policies. We get so mired in kind of government bureaucratic speak in Washington.
Look, I was a legislator for 16 years. I had to have town hall meetings all the time when I was mayor. I had town hall meetings with sometimes between 500 and 1,000 people there. I was the first one there. I was the last one to leave. I got my behind handed to me. A lot of times you got to stand there and take it from your constituents. And by the way, I'm happy to go do town halls. If the Republicans are too scared to show up to talk to their constituents, every Democrat in the country ought to be going to do them, because John is right. The idea is to talk to middle America, to working class people, and to meet them where they live. What do they care about? They care about a roof over their head. They care about putting food on the table for their kids. They care about paying tuition, buying a piece of equipment to do whatever they have to do on the piece of property that they're on, to have a little extra room so that they can have some sense of joy in their life. And the problem is President Trump at Kennedy Center, that's one of the great institutions. Everything this guy touches turns to dirt, and he's going to decimate that institution. But he spent more time talking about the Kennedy Center and plastic straws than he has about lowering class for everyday Americans. And people are feeling that. They're dealing with it. I want to encourage all of the elected officials, Republicans and Democrats, go talk to your folks. They will tell you what it is that they need and what they want, and you have to respond to them.
Now, I can think of one Democrat who has gotten that message. He has gone to the people.
Even if you're not in the federal government, pay close attention to what they are doing and how they are doing it. All of you know that there is going to be a technological revolution taking place right now, and that is artificial intelligence and robotics. So you're going to have computers and robots replacing human labor, okay? Now, I happen to believe that if technology can make us more productive, that is a good thing. But the benefits must go to the workers, not just those who own the technology. So if they are prepared to tell workers at the federal government, some of whom have dedicated their whole lives to public service, hey, you're out of here, goodbye. Tell me what you did last week, you're out of here, goodbye, goodbye. What do you think they're gonna do to people in the private sector when artificial intelligence comes? You're gone, forget it, you're out on the streets. Our job is to make sure that when you have these technologies, it benefits all of us, not just the few. So pay attention to what's going on.
Now, as far as the MAGAs are concerned, I very much appreciate what you're doing online. Solid content, and I've been turning around videos as soon as I possibly can. So you guys keep sending those to me at admin@reesewaters.com. All of this will reveal itself to you in due time. Some of you guys caught on quicker than others, but at the end of the day, the grift is real, and you are on the wrong side of the grift. But I'm here to talk to the Republican congressmen and senators, the representatives. That's why we brought you here today. And you are the ones that I do want to look deep into your eye and say, who raised y'all? Because what we have here is a scenario where your jurisdictions are being cut by his agenda, and he has bullied you to go along with his agenda. He's bullied you to cede your own power with the hammer that he will primary you if you should dissent in any particular way. Yet, they're also trying to tell you that the dissent on the ground is radical left lunatics. So he's threatening to primary you with a popularity that he cannot show, because the only thing that we're seeing on the ground is wilding out. And no, I don't mean the TV show, although they do, some of the timing has been solid with some of the, it's excellent comedic timing with some of the things that have been yelled at some of these things. I will give them that. I do see some potential wilding out participants.
That being said, how will you respond to the allegations that you've been using the LGBT dating app Grindr in secret?
But I need to know why exactly it is that you are so willing to throw your own careers. Of course, you're also being dragged down along with all of the other impropriety, all of the Doge stuff of them breaking into agencies reportedly, and Elon Musk having access to all of the information, and the DEI purges, eliminating all black and female participation in anything. He's dragging you all the way down the dustbin of history. you're going to go along with that and throw your own career on the craps table because you're afraid that he might primary you with a popularity he can't show. Now, that would only make sense for one of two reasons. Either somehow you happen to be in on the grift. Whether there is conversation that's being had, oh, don't worry about it, we're going to take care of you on the back end. Oh, I know we had to come and get security and usher you out of there and put you on a plane like an episode of the G.I. Joe cartoon. I know that we had to come extract you and make it a military operation because that was the level of anger in your town hall. I get all of that, and I get that that's only going to get worse by virtue of our agenda. That being said, we're going to take, you know what I mean? Just don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you on the back end, a little piece of land where you can live with where nobody knows your name. Either you are in on the grift or you lack the basic functionality of comprehending cause and effect. And if that is the case, I don't know how in the world it is that you made it to Congress in the first place. So it's looking kind of grifty. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, the way that you have turned a complete deaf ear and blind eye to the opposition and to what he is doing to your own states, to your own counties, to your own jurisdictions, it's looking kind of grifty. I'm being honest. It's looking kind of grifty. If you don't want that to be the case, well, by all means, you know, I don't mean to instigate nothing, but you know, just holler at Thomas Massey. Yeah, holler at Thomas Massey. Yeah, he got you. He got you. Don't tell him I sent you though. Thank you guys so much for watching the video and supporting the channel. And I want to send a very special shout out to everybody who attended our 2,000 member live celebration last weekend.
Yeah, Mobutu quit and he in the pool right now. Yeah, this is going to be crazy when they find out what happened. Come down. Yeah, Mobutu, he in the pool right now.
It was so much fun. I think we want to make it regular. Yeah, I think we're going to make it a regular thing. So we're going to usher in a new regular members live. I put a poll up on the community tabs. You guys let me know when would be the best time to bring in a new live onto the weekly schedule. And if you would like to join, there is a link to membership in the description box of all of the videos. Now, that'll be in addition to the regular Tuesday lives, which we move from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. So be on the lookout for those as well. I'll be bringing in guests. And speaking of which, if you would like to get a little personal, we get a little bit personal on my other channel, you might want to check out Way of Waters. That's where I tell a lot of stories and talk about my journey to mindfulness and with meditation. And I bring in lots of different people to help usher me into a new phase of peace. So I'll be posting there regularly at Way of Waters. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention my website, reesewaters.com. That's where you can drop me a kudos or send me a suggestion on guests or content. You could purchase merch. You could also sign up for my newsletter. And you can also do all those things by emailing admin@reesewaters.com. But once again, I am so happy that you are here along with me on this journey. There's a lot more to come.